Hey everybody, I'm Chris,
And I'm Josh.
and this is Wingscast. We've been off for about 2 weeks. We've had some camera issues, had a warranty out of camera, but we've changed it up a little bit. We got our split screen set up so we can do this a little more often and a little faster, hopefully. So
And I'm coming in from the Joe Louis bathroom. It's the only thing that's left standing of the Joe Louis Arena, and I
yep,
am there.
and
I
just those
personally
two.
bought it myself.
It's just those two walls, right? That's it.
If your manhood didn't begin in here, then you're not really a Red Wings fan. So I made sure that I our first split screen broadcast, I was here.
Your
Smells
class.
great.
Yeah, I bet it does. Yeah, I guess since we were on what we got Alex Tanguay was hired as an assistant coach. The Petruzzelli rumors, him
Hmm.
not maybe not coming to the Red Wings, gonna go UFA. What else? Right now, last couple days, I've seen some Bertuzzi trade rumors kind of pop up, which is interesting in some regards. But yeah, I guess we can just kind of do some quick hits on this. Alex Tanguay, I thought this was a great hire. Um, we didn't retread, the NHL coaching circuit basically, which is what basically goes on all
Everybody
the time.
does. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's normal.
I mean, we fired him, so you guys can hire him. Like, I don't really understand that. But
Well, you know what? I think it's a great hit too. I really do, only because I was worried Hackstall would end up getting it eventually or something like that, or like you said, a
yeah,
recycled coach then, and, it turns out Hextall goes going to Seattle. But, yeah, I really like the trade or the signing, but, like Draper said, he's the first one to cross the line. A lot of Avalanche don't think about, our
think
wings,
about
especially
Detroit.
from that period, but then again, maybe Wah comes after Blash.
Maybe the
Wouldn't
next
that be
coach.
crazy?
That would be. I think that'd be a little too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is like I guess I don't know if it's actually going to work, right? I mean, I don't think anyone
Right.
does. I mean, it's a shot in the dark. But I like that they tried someone different. They just didn't, oh yeah, so and so is looking for a gig. We'll throw him a bone, right? So it's kind of it's interesting on that front. He was running. He had a lot of responsibilities with the Iowa Wild, the AHL. Before this,
Anything's gonna be better than what we had. I mean, our power play was abysmal. Probably a good reason why we finished as bad as we did, if not probably 45 to 50% the reason why.
yeah,
Probably had the lowest power play in the league, wouldn't you say, if not close to the bottom?
I think we were close to the bottom. I don't know if we were the worst. I don't have that just right at hand here. But yeah, it's he did pretty well his first year there. Last year, I guess his statistics weren't real great on the power play, but they actually had traded out. I think something like they lost like five of their. They lost basically their whole top unit in Iowa. So that I guess
That's
that
pretty
kind of
good though if he's coaching them up. I mean,
yeah. I mean, if they're going somewhere, that's great. I don't know. Maybe they just kind of cycled out finally, but it seems to it's a good hire. Who knows if it works, but it's outside the box, and I like that.
well, he
We
interviewed well too. I liked his press conference. He did say he was going to establish relationships first. I think that's probably the most important thing, especially with as young as a group we do have, with like a little trickle of, veteran leadership. But I really do think he's going to put a little bit more structure into the power play. I think maybe the guys might level with him a little bit better because I mean, difference between Blash and Tanke seems to be black and white because he's all about the relationship. Blash is all the strictly 200 feet game, back and forth. That's it. Do your job, skate hard, and maybe this is something to kind of churn or kind of spur the locker room a little bit. I think it will.
I hope so. We need something going on. I also think, I mean, you got a guy who played over 1,000 games. He's a Stanley Cup
Mhm.
champion. Um,
He's won, so
yeah. So I mean, he's been there, right? I mean, I don't know where Flash has been, but as a goalie, but I don't think it was the NHL by any means. Other than that, then we went to Petruzzelli.
this
I know
one hurt.
yeah, this one hurt you a lot. You were big on
Yeah.
Petruzzelli
Yeah, I thought he's the best prospect I think we've had in our system in a long, long time,
as a goalie.
as a goalie for sure. Um, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he's looking at this and thinking, "Well, I don't have a shot with Bernier and Greiser sitting there." But then again, if I'm Petroselli, obviously I'm different. I don't have an agent in my ear, but those 2 are one of those 2 are leaving, period. Probably won't keep both of them. So I'm thinking he would have gotten early reps, early reps, especially in the preseason, probably one guy goes down, they're not going to call up Picard. They're probably going to call up Petruzzelli, honestly, since he's
Y
probably the higher ceiling, right? So
yeah, I
it
mean,
hurt.
he's a bit older coming out of the NCAA, right? So I think he's 24. I wanna say he's 24, 23. It might be 23.
Yeah, he's past the 4 year.
Yeah,
I
so, I
think he
mean,
had a
he's
medical or
looking at
something,
yeah, he's actually looking at his 5th year going back to college or, going UFA. And, yeah, you kinda wonder what's going on here. Maybe he wants to play closer to home? I don't know. I mean, you think anyone wants to make the NHL, right, as a as a player, and in the NHL, goalie spots are kind of at a premium. You're not gonna walk on to an NHL ice sheet on a contender by any means. So, yeah, I mean, you just gotta wonder what his thinking is. Maybe it wasn't all on him. Maybe attitudes clashed. We don't really know. We'll probably never know. But it did hurt. It did hurt the goalie system quite a bit.
well,
But I
there's
know
nothing there now. So what's the draft
there's
look
some
like?
fringe. I mean, there's some fringe guys out there. I mean, you got Gielander, you've got Bratstrom, and there's some guys, but there's nothing real significant. But I mean,
Right.
goalies come out of nowhere all the time. So
It's true. No, I think, you know what? I think the common denominator with Detroit and goalies right now is the goalie coach. Like you look at the Islanders. You got Trotz over there. He's taken that goalie coach from Nashville to Washington to New York. And look at the goalie, Rene, which killed us those 2 years in the playoffs, or I think a year. And then he goes over and they have Holtby. Holtby plays the best in his career, leaves there, goes over to New York. You got Sorokin and Varlamov, which basically they rode to
yeah,
almost to a final. So, and they were clearly probably top five best team, if not top three best team that lost, right? So, they lost the Stanley Cup champions, and didn't they take them 6 games or 5 games?
who's that? Tampa.
Yeah, it was
I
five,
think it was 6 games.
6 games. So,
I
I
think it was
mean,
6 games. I don't remember.
that's
I
what I'm
didn't watch a
saying.
whole lot of that series. I was kinda busy. But,
Right. That's what I'm saying, though. I think a lot of it rests on Slajko. I don't think he'll be
but
back for the new tenure, though.
I don't think prospects are, like, basing their destination on the goalie coach, though. I mean,
Right?
most of these goalies aren't in the immediate system. They're not in the AHL. They're not obviously in the NHL. They're overseas. They're in the NCAA. So they're not necessarily dealing with our goal coaching staff. You might get some pointers from them. They might watch the film and say, hey, maybe try to do
Sure.
this or that. But I think at a level that they're at, they're not going to get bad direction. You might not get the absolute best, but an NHL goalie coach is still going to be able to improve an NCAA goaltender, right?
Well, yeah.
So
Well, you got to think there's rules. You can't practice as much in the NCAA, so
right.
they're going to get more reps on the ice. But I don't know. I really think like I look at Mrazek. Would you rather have Mrazek back right now? Right now,
Yeah, but I mean, Mrazek's still hot and cold.
he is.
He's not.
It's he grew up in that system, and I mean, I just look at the pipeline. I look at how other goalies have developed. Like we thought, who was Gustafson came through with all of that. Who's the other goalies? Sort of name of Conklin. He was way back, way back.
That's
But
way
Slachko
back.
was there. Slachko was there too. He was with Mavs, wasn't he?
No. Slachko came with Mrazek. Mrazek wanted Slachko.
Gotcha.
He basically opted for Slachko. I don't remember if there's drama there or not. I kind of think there was,
Has
but
to be.
yeah, he basically wanted Slachko. They gave into that request, so they have Slachko. Obviously, Mrazek's now gone. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna blame the goalie coach. We just didn't have
I'm not.
the
I
highest
think it could be better
quality.
though.
Right. Well, yeah, it could be, but yeah, we just didn't have the highest quality prospects in goal. When you look at
Right.
Bernier, Bernier's playing fine. I mean, Grice played fine down the line. After kind of starting slow. So I mean, I guess I don't know how much an NHL goalie coach is truly helping an NHL goalie.
I guess it just depends on the reps. I just know the huge difference between all three of those teams that Trotz run, and he has quite possibly the best goalie coach following him around. But I look at it kind of like Bilesma when he left, you know, and we don't know what Tanguay's going to do, but it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, yeah, I feel like we're to a point now where we have to kind of start rolling these coaches, if not just firing them, just like, okay, here's your resignation and go, because we're right in the midst of a culture change here, and it's going to be extremely, extremely tender to to make sure you pretty much micromanage that growth. So I like to see him gone. I don't maybe it had something to do with Petruzzelli. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't like the guy. So I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of what ifs there. I just it sucks.
Well,
That sucks listening
it
to him.
it definitely didn't seem like Eiserman was surprised by it. So, so maybe I don't know, there might have been something going back here because I mean, there was some stuff on Twitter. I know, like Ryan Hanna of Wing Wheel Podcast said, they tried to book him a ways back, and
Mm.
he basically ghosted him. So this could have been going on for a while. Maybe who knows? Who knows? I'm not gonna, I guess, speculate or try to speculate too much. I mean, we don't know what happened, but
They're the
it
most
sucks.
temperamental. They're the most temperamental people on the team, I think. I mean, aside
Yeah,
from like your grinders and whatnot, but
yeah. Goalies are
uh,
weird.
they're the drummers of the band. So I mean, you don't know what you're going to get day in and day out, night in
Yeah,
and night out. So we'll
but
see what
then
happens, I guess.
yeah, but overall, that one kind of sucks for the for the
That's the
future. At
worst
least
news I think we've got so far
yeah,
this year.
I would agree with that. And then last like I said, last couple days, we've seen some Bertuzzi rumors. Seems like there was a lot of like people are swinging back to wanting grit guys now. They want
It's a
they want
premium on those guys that when they go deep in the playoffs, you need guys like Bertuzzi and Marchands and
well, you need the guys,
Mayfields.
yeah, but I guess it comes with a caveat that like you gotta have the grinder, but he's got to be able to at least fit in. Not necessarily that they are a top six player, but that they can actually fit in those roles if they have to, and be
Right.
good enough and comfortable enough in those situations that they help a team, right? Like I mean, you can't throw the Witkowskis out there in the playoffs, right? It's just not going to happen.
Right. Well, Bert's one of those guys. I think he's got enough talent to where I think he produces fairly well.
Well, he does.
Um,
Bert does. I mean, you've seen him top line with Larkin, and he's produced 20 plus goal seasons or 20 plus goal pace seasons now, also, and on full seasons. So yeah, I think there's a lot of value there. I mean, would you want to trade him now? Like, I mean, is this you want draft picks next year? I mean, what do you need for him?
what if you can get if you can get a first round? Well, Toronto's going to be late round picks anyway if we do trade him there.
Well,
I
yeah, I
mean, I
mean,
think
if you're
Toronto. It's probably going to they're probably going to go Toronto, but they're going to have to pay a steep price for it. I think,
yeah, I
but
don't like their system very much. And they're like you said, their first round picks are late. So I mean, you've got a relatively young. I think Bert's gonna be 26, 25, 26. I know he's right there.
right,
I don't have it in front of me. A guy who, I mean, you got a 25, 26-year-old who you've got control, who will sign probably long term here if you wanted him to. I don't think he's
right.
gonna try to run on this, and this doesn't seem like that personality.
I worry
And
he's going to be Cleary. We get to a Cleary phase with him to
I
where
don't
it's kind of fringe. He's good, 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 and then we get a fringe player, and then we're dedicated to him. But I don't think Stevie would sign that kind of contract though, or
I don't
keep
well,
that side of the
he's
loyalty.
basically said recently that he is not interested in long-term deals right now. I mean, he might, some of those guys, what we consider core might be core going forward, might get some, some term, but he's talked 2, 3 years. That's kind of his MO right now. And that's what he said in press conferences. Like he doesn't want long-term um kind of guys, I guess, dictating what the future is going to look like when so he can have some operating, space. But for Bert, my main concern is that his game, and we seen it last year, he was injured, he was out for a long time through the end
Right.
of the year, never came back. You know, that kind of game is gonna be, how he plays, it's gonna wear on him and it's gonna wear on him a little quicker than like the skill guys.
Right.
So, I mean, you might see I mean, at 30, he might be in decline, right? So,
But he's gotta put on weight if he's gonna play like that. He doesn't look like he's too thick. So, I mean, like Crosby, for instance, when Crosby I was watching a video, and what he does is he tailors his whole training around how the league reacted to him the year prior. So, if
yeah.
he feels like he was telling the trainer, "It's like, I feel like they were leaning on me a lot last year." So the trainer's like, "Okay, well, we'll start putting the pounds on," you know, muscle at least, not, just not throwing the flab on. But I think that's where Burt probably needs to put maybe 15, 20 pounds of just pure muscle on. If he does that, he's going to be a force. He's already a force to reckon with because he requires so much attention to defend. Now you add that muscle to him. Now he's a big, big problem. So I don't know what the regiment is there, but I I think what do you think you get for him? A first round for sure,
Well, to me, I mean, we're kind of getting to that place where, futures are great and draft picks are great, but you've got to get more than that. And I've said this before, like people think like, oh, first round draft pick, this is fantastic. Like this is a tremendous asset in draft capital. And really, when you look at it, it's not so much great, especially when you're looking like sub 20,
hmm
like 20 through what will now be, pick 32 in the first round. You're looking at guys that, I mean, it's a flip of a coin, maybe at best.
Mhm.
I mean, and that's just saying that they play 100 games in the NHL, not even saying that they're necessarily top 6 or top line. I know I've looked a lot at this coming draft in in a week or so here, and by the time they're getting picks down to, like, 16, 17, they're saying, like, he's probably gonna be, at best, like, a really good 3rd line center or, whatever. So, I mean, the value's not there on those, especially the people who are gonna splurge, contenders, things like that. Their 1st round picks don't have significant value
Well,
in
yeah.
the way that we're looking at rebuilding.
Yeah, I really don't know where Stevie's at on this draft. So, I really don't like the draft that much and the players in there. I think there's maybe 1 or 2 gems in there, that we won't see. But I think this is gonna be one of those drafts where the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th rounds are probably gonna be the most important out of all of them because of the COVID protocol, not a lot of scouting going on. So, maybe you get a 1st and maybe another 2nd at that point with him and just let him take Bert, but I don't know. I
No
don't know
way. No way.
what who makes you pull that trigger
You
or
gotta get someone, you gotta get, like, an A prospect, someone that, maybe someone took last year that they're a few years off that, they need help, not like, you look at Toronto. Toronto needs help now. Toronto's window is now. Toronto needs to win now. So, like, you gotta basically go in there and say, like, yeah, like, Rodion Amarov or whoever you like in their system, and maybe
Mhm.
not Amarov, maybe somebody else, like, he's not gonna help you immediately. He's not gonna help you for a few years. He's gonna have a hard time breaking in your forward core anyways. You're
Yeah.
rolling 3 plus lines as it is, and you're trying to win a cup. So Bert helps you now, but we need that. We need a first. We need a second next year. You basically have to sell the fact that winning now is the most important thing for some of these teams, like Edmonton, or I mean, Edmonton might be a great location too. Though they just wasted a bunch of cap space with Duncan Keith
Yeah,
today,
well, that was the
which was
most Ken
just,
Holland thing ever. Thank God he's gone.
yeah, that was
I'd have been irate with that.
I would not have been happy with that if I was an Edmonton
That was
fan. I
terrible.
mean, it wasn't. I don't know if it was like horrible, horrible, but like you gave up an asset for an old guy. I mean, and the third round pick is what killed it for me. Like, but
Well,
anyways,
we were talking pre-show. I mean, their window's open, and as long as you like you said, as long as David and Draisaitl are on that team, the window's gonna probably remain open.
well, you have a
But
chance, right? Like you have a shot at a decent cup run.
they're gonna be goalie for hire, just like usual.
Yeah,
We've heard that before. And I don't know if they could do term with Barry, can they? So, I
I
mean
don't think they have
I'd
the.
have to look at the
I don't
number,
think
yeah,
they don't have the money. And Barry played well last year for him, but I mean, like you're also saying, like I just padded my stats with the best player in the world. Like
and they were god awful in the playoffs. It
they
wasn't
were
even
they were
close.
really
They were
bad.
god awful. So, but that's we were god awful against Tampa too. So, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm just like it's like PTSD when I'm watching this stuff, I go into create uh, straight epileptic seizures when I start hearing about it and start watching it, man. I start doing the epileptic seizure movement though. So, I mean, it I don't know, man. I would give
I
I
would
would
I would need
want
a I would
top
need a
prospect first rounder.
yeah, top prospect first rounder would be my absolute goal for that. I'd like to get a little more. I mean, depending on who the prospect, if you get an
What do you
A-list
think
prospect,
what do you think about a Nylander or Nylander or something like that? Do you think they'd
there's
give up that for Bert?
no,
Would
I
you
mean,
want
they're
him?
dropping Hyman anyways, so you kinda gotta
That's
fill
true.
that role.
That'd be
So,
nice to get him, wouldn't you think? Nice little established center for a 2, 3-year term.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of Hyman personally. I'd rather take cap dumps for assets. I mean, if I can get them, I mean, you could get Turris out of Edmonton, you could get Neal, you could find like Turris would be fine. I mean, whatever. Like you got
Yeah,
another.
I think Terce would work.
Yeah, I mean, is he significantly better than Nielsen? Who knows? But I mean, it's another center. It gives you some depth, and it'd be a cap dump, and they'd probably give you something for it, right? So, but those are the things like I definitely like. I'd rather do than just go sign UFAs, especially guys who are going to try to look for some term like Hyman. And I mean, generally, it looks like it could be a really good UFA class. Most of the guys probably sign where they're already at. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it'd be
just
interesting to see. I saw some trade today about Louis Erickson us taking on a Louis Erickson one.
I
Did you
seen
see
that.
that?
Yeah, so that was Max Boltman in the Athletic was talking
Yeah,
today
yeah.
about like
Blockbuster trade.
well, he was talking about a trade up situations in his article today in on the Athletic, and it was a good article. I thought he was a little bit hopeful in that trade. I think
Right.
it's a good idea, but basically he said that it was the Red Wings trade I believe it was the 23rd overall for the ninth overall and Louis Erickson. If Louis
He's got
Erickson had
1 year of 6, right?
1 year at 6, I mean, is that worth a giant downgrade of a first round pick? I mean, you're trading out of the top 10 to go into the mid 20s. to dump 1 year of Louis Erickson.
All they gotta do is wait for it unless they're just really concerned about I mean, they'll
Well, they
be
got
trying to push Besser out maybe, maybe get him or something like that. That'd be nice.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I mean, they've got to pay. Um, they got to pay Quinn Hughes here pretty, I think, this year, and they
He's
got
gonna
some other
get
guys to
9.
pay.
He's gonna get 9 for
I think he's
sure.
gonna get 9 right away. I think they're gonna bridge him. I think that he's got to prove that. He's got to prove durability. He's got to prove a lot of things. His defense
Well,
is terrible. I mean, his defense is terrible.
and he is a
So
defenseman, that's the thing. Well, even look at Kaprizov was it Kaprizov? Kirill
yeah,
Kaprizov turned down 9 AAV
did he? I didn't see
for
that.
6, 7 year. Oh
I
my
didn't see that.
gosh,
That's
I'd
a
have
lot of
took that
money.
and ran in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Billy G's just passing it out.
that's a good one to pass it out to probably.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
but
mean, coming back to Bertuzzi, uh, I think it's time to at least entertain these trades with him. If he's, I'm sure Eiserman is. I mean, you never know what Eiserman's going to do. I mean, one report said that someone had an insider source that they were looking to sign 4 or 5 years for Bertuzzi, and another person somehow had an insider source also saying that they're looking to trade Bertuzzi. Maybe to Toronto and this and that. So it's like I don't think anyone has a real clue what Eiserman's doing except for his very inner trusted circle of people.
Draper, Maltby, those guys,
Yeah, and I think that's the only people who really know the thoughts on those kind of things and
right?
what's going on. And I think that a lot of his dealings basically come with a complete, you know, what's it like non-disclosure to whoever he's talking to. Like you can't talk about this or it's done. Like that's it. I think that's how he operates. That's why most of his big moves you never hear about them.
Well, yeah, I mean, who would have thought the Mantha trade? I thought we were doomed. I didn't know how good Verona was. I don't think anybody knew how good Verona was, but it's maybe Washington because I
Well,
mean they
they
were like
didn't know either. I
he
mean, they're
needs the
playing.
minutes. Apparently, he
Yeah.
just needs the minutes.
Well,
You
they
know,
liked him third line and scratched. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they knew how good he is or not. Maybe we don't know how good he is. I don't know.
the
We'll
guy's
find out.
electric. I watched him play international. He's electric.
Yeah, he has the skill. But I mean, my main point was like no one even seen that trade coming. No one said, hey,
That's true.
Washington's, Detroit's, they're working on something here. Like no one said anything. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, like very end of the day, it's like, oh yeah, here's the biggest trade of the day. But
Man,
I trade Burt for the right deal every day of the week right now. Give me a top six center prospect in the first round pick, and he's gone.
yeah, we get. I mean, well,
Or a
okay. You
lefty, top lefty prospect.
what if you get a center from him, a top maybe 2-3 center from it? What do you do for the draft?
I
You go
still
straight Johnson or what?
I don't know. I think
It's
my final consensus on the draft, and it'll probably change by tomorrow, is I take Luke Hughes first if he's there. Then I go to Eklund. I think Eklund's total package.
I thought he was playing another year over at Sweden. Thought he
Well,
declared that.
I mean, he probably
He
is.
can. Okay.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he can play years still in Sweden, but he's going to be drafted this year. There's no doubt. I also have a pretty good assumption. I think that both Hughes and Eklund will be on in the top five.
Hmm.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. The only way it doesn't if someone I think really likes Edvinson coming out and Clark and Edvinson would have to go in the top five. I think for one of those two, or maybe Genther. One of those two of those three basically have to go top five for us to get Hughes or Eklund. And I do love Ken Johnson. The skill is undeniable. He's probably the most skill with the puck in the draft. But you got to wonder if he's going to turn into a perimeter guy in the NHL.
Well, he's a
Not
left wing center. We don't know if he's a left wing or center.
right.
So
If he's a center, I think you have to make the gamble. If he's
okay.
not going to play center, I think you go McTavish and get an abrasive middle six center who might project higher. I think that's the best you're going to get out of this draft. It's all
And then
projection. It's all
or draft
ceiling.
two goalies.
No, shut up. Don't start. Don't start.
Two
Come on.
goalies because
Come
yeah,
on, Potter.
I hope so. I mean, I like Wallstead. I think that's our biggest need right now. I think well, here's what I look at this as. See, everybody's wanting a center and everybody's clamoring for a center. It's like, oh, look at the centers we have right now. Do you really want to try to convert a guy that's maybe a center? Right? Is McTavish a center? He's a center, right?
McTavish is
He's
a natural
abrasive.
center and will play center in the NHL.
So he's
He's
going to be what
abrasive.
third, fourth line, right?
Why do you
You
say
said
that?
top six.
I
Well,
say I say middle six, so I said second or third line. We need a second line
so
center
you
at
got
some point
Fabry
here.
and Larkin right there,
Yeah,
two
but
centers. So that's 1, 2, then 3, maybe McTavish, but you got Rass, then you
well,
got Veleno.
well, yeah. So right now, yeah. But I mean, I think there's a good chance eventually Larkin is gone.
I
I
think so
think
too.
I
I
think
can agree with that.
Fabry is very fringe. Fabry's played 3C. He didn't get much 2C when he was healthy. Veleno is probably the
He's
highest.
ready. He's ready to go right now.
I think he is too. I think he's worth playing in the NHL. I think that he he's definitely. Well, I don't know if he's going to start in the NHL next year, depending on what we do. But I think he's ready. I think he should be playing in the NHL, and I think he's got a Larkin ceiling, but in a different way. I don't think he's going to be the goal scorer that Larkin can be, but I think he's going to be a much better puck facilitator than Larkin.
Okay.
And when you get people like Zadina, Verana, Raymond, that's the other thing that came up on our site, and it came up a few times in his draft year. I would try Lucas Raymond at center. I would try to get him
You would
reps at
try?
center. I would try. I mean, Zetterberg was a wing too, right? I mean, when he was drafted, I'm pretty sure he was.
I guess that just depends. I think center is more on the temperament because I think it's more of a finesse type of.
Well, I think
If
Raymond has that
Clendening can
finesse.
be a center, I can believe Raymond can be a center.
Hey, don't talk bad about future Hall of Famer Luke London.
Yeah, right. Let's
Um,
give him a 9-year contract right now at 10 AAV.
yeah, I'd definitely petition the NHL for a rule change for 9 years. Eight's not enough. But anyway, I like Luke London anyway. Come on, people.
Seriously.
Um, but yeah, I mean, we're gonna see. We're gonna talk about the draft. With our split screen setup now, we have the ability to basically record any night, every night, turn it around hopefully pretty quickly.
Yeah.
If you watch this, you see anything in the split screen that seems weird, off, tell Josh in the comments. Like I said, it's our first shot at doing this, but it's going to allow us to. We're going to cover. I think ex-
Expansion?
the expansion comes next. I think the
The
lists have to
list comes
be.
out the 19th for
Yep,
protection.
I believe they have to be submitted the 18th, and I will check that real quick, just make sure I'm right on that. No, I'm sorry, they've submitted the 17th, they're revealed the 18th, and the draft is the 21st. The expansion draft is the 21st. So we're gonna cover all that every night. We'll go over stuff every night for those.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll do draft night because that's a big one. You'll get post post first round from us, and we'll get something the next day too.
Chris possibly sober, unlike last year during the draft.
Yeah, it's good we did not live stream last
Yeah.
year. It
Great
got
we
it,
didn't.
it got a little rough.
Well, it's Christmas time for Red Wing fans, for all of us, I think.
It
I
is.
think this is it.
Yeah, for any rebuilding team, this is, I mean, everyone's looking at the futures. Everyone wants to see, the next big thing in their team and all those things. So it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be exciting, 2 weeks here coming up. And yeah, we'll be here to cover it now that we have an alternative setup to our
Mhm.
main camera, which is down right now.
Yep, I
But
have to drive 30 minutes to this bathroom, which smells heavenly, by the way. I could smell Little Caesar smell air freshener with a mixture of piss and the actual urinal cakes in here with the ice on top, or
yeah,
with the ice on top of the urinal cakes.
did
So
you bring the ice yourself just
I
to
brought the ice myself. I
yeah,
was just thinking, can't
yeah.
wait to eat my Little Caesars pizza in the middle of this bathroom. So much history here. Hit puberty in this bathroom.
Oh man, that's great. Thanks for that image.
Yep.
Anyways, like, comment, subscribe. Like I said, if you have any problems looking at this, if it looks weird, let us know. Like, this is our first shot at trying this side by side view, and
Right.
we'll see you guys next time.
So yeah.